Alrighty, we're going to be doing an editing flow today. I mean, just like the title says, and my intention is to just get some editing done, get some stuff done because I've already recorded a video, a couple of them, and I have quite the backlog in my video editing pipeline. So I figure if I stream myself editing, maybe I'll get something done. And I think first we need to clean my desk. It's sort of like when Jordan Peterson says, clean your room. And that will somehow be the beginning of solving all of life's problems. Actually, he's not wrong about that. But I do have a bone to pick with Jordan Peterson, man. Let me tell you, that guy is making me tight. Whenever he bitches and moans about the fact that he got deep faked, it's like, okay, someone made a rap video. And, they did a deep fake of you where you're saying some stupid stuff. And because he doesn't like what the deep fake version of himself is saying, he's like, oh, this is dangerous, and we got to ban it, and we can't have anonymity on the internet because of this. And it's just a very stupid take. It sort of underscores the Canadian in him, and I'm not knocking all Canadians, just the ones who don't comprehend the importance of individual liberty, freedom of speech, and those basic constitutional protections which prevent governments from getting overly tyrannical. It is without those constitutional liberties, those constitutionally protected liberties, that we get tyrannical governments. And I have an issue with actually the idea of the Second Amendment protecting the First Amendment. There is some truth to it. It is an interesting premise, no doubt about it. And I'm not totally against the concept, but it is something that I don't think anyone should say carelessly because of the current climate of things and the way that, reactionaries will react to that, for lack of a better term. But when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, I agree. But just because I agree that the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment, I have to ask, what does that mean in practice? And if it means, marching on the, see, it's like, I can't even say it, that chilling effect when it comes to free speech. So you know what? Let's segue into the topic at hand. This is an editing stream, and I discovered something interesting. When I turn my head towards my right side monitor, the shadow hits my glasses in such a way that I have this like dark shadow, and it sort of looks like I have a red mark on my face, but I don't. But if I turn my head, I think it goes away. And I gotta double check by looking at my, yeah, it goes away when I look over here. It's like not bad, but there's something about the lighting angle here, and maybe I need like an additional lighting source. I was seriously thinking about buying one of those Elgato key lights. Basically, it's a light that you can adjust the color temperature on. It's well suited for anybody using a chroma key and anybody who wants to control the color temperature of their lighting. And in my case, I need a lighting source that would fill in certain areas, like when I turn my head and I get this major shadow from my glasses. But if I use any of my current lighting sources, they got like 3 or 4 lights above me right now. Like, okay, so I got this Chrome Dome, which apparently the wire on it is at max extension. So, we got that. I got like 3 more. Ooh, I think I can adjust this. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so I got like 3 of these Chrome Dome lamps. One of them is in a cardboard box lined in foil. The other is a chrome dome with a piece of parchment paper and paper towel in front of it. The other is my ceiling light, and in fact, that's just a normal adjustable LED. So when I'm editing, I was thinking, can I fix that shadow with color grading? And I'm like, way out of my league in that regard. So we're not going to go there right now. But this is actually not even related to my YouTube channel. This is a project I've been working on as a sort of B-roll secondary object. Not really B-roll, but secondary project. And I did manage to set up my what do you call it? Stream Deck, not to be mistaken with a Steam Deck. And now I can show my ultra wide screen monitor, just like that. So that's the ultra wide monitor. I am supposed to have a downward facing webcam, but for some reason, I keep having to reset that one. And so hopefully this will be the last time I have to reset that, because I've already done a lot to basically address the issue I was having. And so, for example, if we go to my desk cam, this one clearly works. So if I copy and paste this into here, I can then put this beneath all of these scenes here. Uh-oh, that's odd. What the? Oh, that's how that works. Okay, good. We can fix that. So, I'm gonna go back to my MSI display. Okay. Okay. So I need to make a button for that. And I should probably show that. So we got so many issues with this here. So if I duplicate a camera angle, I can resize it by placing it here. And then we can see the messy side of my desk. So what I would do then is I would crop a little here. I would crop a little here. And before I crop anything, what I like to do is take this roll of tape, put it in the middle of the frame. So when I shrink it, I can track down the center, because this is a very wide angle view here. This lens has a very wide view, and the consequence of that is there we go. There we go. Okay. So you know, there's probably a better way to do this, but for now, see, the tricky thing is when you have this camera running, you don't want to have it in the way. So I could probably do some further tweaking so that it doesn't get in the way. In fact, I could probably do something about that. So just for reference, that's my third monitor, and well, now you can't see the main screen, but if we go here and we go back to my main MSI, what the hell was I at? Here? I was here. Yeah. No, I was here. So, okay, I have the camera over here. And if we go down here on the right side panel, whoa, what is this? Okay, we're gonna get rid of that. Okay, whoops, whoa. Okay, that, gotta be careful with that. So I don't know what the hell this green bounding box is down here, but when I move it around, okay, there we go. That's fine. We got rid of it. Okay. Okay, so that's my bottom chroma key. Basically, I have the chroma keys separated on the bottom. So we're going to lock it down. Then I'm trying to remember what I did here. Oh, wait, I remember what I did. This is too complex. I'm not messing with this right now. So this is an edit stream. I don't know why I just went into tweaking my OBS setup. I could have done this all day. So now, let's just get back on topic. I have one more issue to address. And we can pop out of studio mode, go back to my MSI display. And what I want to do is I want this to go away. This bottom, frame here. I want that to go away when I switch to one of these, because I don't really see a reason why the camera should be running when I'm doing this, because I have an ultra wide monitor, so we can look at the center, and if you're looking at a full screen 1080p normal 16:9 video, this makes sense. But if I want to show you something on the left side of my screen, I zoom in like this. If I want to show you the right third of my screen, I do this. If I want to show you the whole thing, I do that. So that's all working really well. But how do we turn off that camera? It's hidden in the background. You don't see it. But what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that when we switch to one of these multi-actions, it turns off that camera. So to do that, we go to source visibility, and we're actually going to say hide, and the name of that source is desk down. I gave it a funny name, and I believe I can even put it inside of a group. And desk hyphen down, because that's what I named it. So now if I go over here, we go to MSI display, desk hyphen down, and yeah, I think that would do it. Hide desk down. Okay, whatever. It doesn't really matter what we call it. And I think that's all we do. So when we're making that visible, we're hiding all of those. And we do the same thing here. In fact, I could literally copy this, paste it here, paste it here, and then over here, I would actually do the opposite. I would show the desk. And now, when I hit these buttons, I should be able to do this. So when I press this button, it has hidden my desk camera, which is already, hidden physically by the window, but it turns it off. And then I press it again, and boom, it turns it back on. So That's what we want. So this is pretty sweet. I'm glad I got a Stream Deck just because of this alone. You could do it on a phone screen, but you know, having buttons, I can touch the buttons and feel them, so I know what I'm pressing. So now this is a project involving a VHS tape, and unfortunately, this is gonna be a little dicey. So I'm gonna zoom out a lot, and I have two versions of this. I have a non-widescreen, so basically I have a version of this where I exported the footage without the pillar boxes. And I have another version where I did export it with the pillar boxes. And so what we're looking at here are a bunch of them where we have it in widescreen. You can see it clearly labeled. So all of the widescreens are pillar box. And all of these, ones over here are not. So see, when I play it back, it's a square view. But if I press this one here, it's widescreen. And if I were to take this and expand it, this would be more accurate. So it gets a little weird, but let's see what happens when I open it. Yep, okay, so this one here, it looks the same as this. But they're not the same. Because when you open up this one here, oh God. Okay, I don't want to play that. Okay, so when I open up this one here, I can shrink it and clearly the pillar box goes away. So this is not widescreen. But when I open up the widescreen one, now it's clearly widescreen. So why would I do that? Well, some people might do it for compatibility. But here's why I did it. Because during this video, there are mixed scenes. So for example, there's these scenes where the guys mix in movie trailers. This is a television show that was broadcasted on public access television. It's a little sketchy. It's got a lot of inappropriate stuff in it. But in here, we got these movie trailers. And so that's all widescreen, right? So this is 4:3. Let's put the volume up here. So right there. This is 4:3 aspect ratio. And then it goes into a widescreen setup. Now, why is it like this? Well, originally it wasn't. Originally, I literally went here in the top right corner. And I went from 1.0, basically, it was around here, let's say. So you can see now we got pillar box. And so if I kept it like this, it would not need to be widescreen. If I kept it like this, I could keep it, I could keep the entire video in 4:3. We wouldn't have any pillar box. But here's the catch. Just because this video is, square, more or less, and if I play it on my square monitor, sure, it'll look fine. Oh, we got a moon outside tonight. So I was looking out the window. But we have a square here now. But you play this back on a widescreen monitor. And, for example, we take one of these. If I full screen on it, we have the pillar box over here. And that's all fine and dandy. I have to make sure I don't open up something sketchy. Okay, so this looks good on a widescreen monitor. It fills up the entire screen, right? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, God. Like I said, this show is full of inappropriate content. Okay, good. Here we are. Wow, the moon is rising pretty quickly. Now, when you play it in full screen, you got double boxes. You got letterbox on the top and bottom, pillar box on the side. And so, sure, when you're playing a scene that was filmed in 4:3 aspect, fine. It makes sense to, it doesn't really make a difference if I do it in widescreen or not, because you're going to have pillar box either way. But whenever we come up to a scene that is widescreen, like one of these, very low quality, but it's a widescreen scene. Now, when you look at it on a modern TV, you're going to have, once again, quadruple black bars. And so the trick is zoom in on this. And now you're going to use up all of the horizontal real estate. You'll still have some letterbox depending on the aspect ratio of the content, like if it's 21:9 or whatever it is. But you're making more efficient use of your screen. That's what I did here. If we hit undo, there we go. Now we're back at full widescreen. Now, some clips will leave a little bar on the bottom here, but I'd much rather have the video playback like this, where you have some pillar box and then the widescreen scenes are zoomed in. It takes a little bit more effort, but the way I see it, if I'm going to go through the effort of digitizing VHS tapes, I might as well go to the extra step of taking any content that is widescreen and making it fill up the frame. So I'm not cropping it. I'm just, getting it up to the point that it fills. And I just want to watch the moon rise because I saw it behind my neighbor's house and I just want to watch it rise from behind the roof. I want to see how fast the moon moves. Wow, I see the moon. Yeah, I just watched the moon rise twice. But the other issue here is, well, does that mean that the weather is clear? Because it was raining all day yesterday, all day today. It's been raining for the past couple of days. But it was every day I had off from work, it was raining. And now I'm seeing the moon. And I kind of hope it's cloudy because, I don't want to waste a good evening of astrophotography, I hate wasting a good night of astro imaging. Now, maybe, great. Yeah, this sucks. So, it's partly cloudy now at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. It'll be clear in the morning, so basically there's no chance of rain. So if I uncover my telescope now and utilize it, it's not going to rain on my telescope at all. I'm a little regretful I didn't buy the Nakatomi Advent calendar. I might just buy it anyway and give it as a gift to a couple of people because it's only for $12 now. I don't know if this is just an Etsy thing, but it's super cool. Someone mentioned it on a friend's live stream weeks ago actually, and I should have bought it then. I mean, it's brilliant. It's so brilliant, you know? And it's beautifully made too, but I opted not to get it. I was like, big deal. That's weird. It's got a lobby at the bottom. Is that what happened in the movie Guy fell through the lobby? That's weird. Anyway, I think there's multiple versions of this. I think these are rip-offs. I think there's like some on Amazon, and this is like a knockoff that's being produced on Etsy or something like that. But I don't know, I might get it as a gift, you know? I mean, it's a good gift to get for anybody who knows about Die Hard and, you know, this whole argument about whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's an interesting, you know, argument. But, yeah, this weather situation. So what about tomorrow night? Oh, man, it's so good having a mute button. I can fart and mute. I can mute the sound and then fart. You know, I wouldn't just fart. That would be uncivilized. Okay, good thing I'm not running this on screen. Got a lot of advertisements. So tantalizing. Okay, so it'll be cloudy, partly cloudy tomorrow. Really cold tomorrow. So, like 20 degrees tomorrow. So, in other words, we'll have very good astrophotography weather. So, it says the weather temperature will be 33 degrees with a real feel of 19 degrees, dew point of 18 degrees. So I don't know if that means we'll have actual rain. 23% cloud cover. And that's actually Sunday night. You know, Monday night, same concept. So basically partly cloudy or partly clear. So I'm a little, you know, uptight because, like, I hate wasting astrophotography weather, but they say 41% cloud cover. Yeah, 20 to 40% cloud cover. So it's a little tricky, but I guess it's not a total waste. It's just that when I can see the stars, when I can see nebulae, when I can see galaxies, I hate wasting it. Okay, good. It's not a waste. I can see clouds. It's not a waste. I can see the clouds. Although I gotta say, I got my window open this whole time. And, well, you know, my computer seems to be generating enough heat. So now let's get down to work here. Okay, so we're gonna take this extra browser tab, shove it in here. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're doing here. So this scene is not full widescreen, but the previous video was. So in fact, we can see this is like, you know, pretty much 16:9 aspect ratio. And then right after this movie trailer, it goes into some space movie. So we go from this 16:9 and then to this slightly less wide aspect ratio regarding a movie called Terror Nauts. Get it? It's not Terror Nauts, it's Terror Nauts. And so, yeah, this is going to be uploaded to another platform, although I may be choosing another platform because lately that BitChute platform, they've been having some issues. Nothing wrong with them. I mean, there are some issues with BitChute, mainly the abundance of Nazis. But at the end of the day, you can counter bad speech with more free speech. Although, those guys really do make a mess of the comments on BitChute. I mean, like, this is jerk off on BitChute. He keeps doing the same video. And yeah, like, I should probably do a little presentation on that because it's kind of interesting to me, you know, like, I think it's called the economics or economy of the third. And then on YouTube, I think what the hell is that guy? Griffin Historian, economy third. Oh, cool, there's a rocket launch being launched. Just a Falcon 9. It's still cool, but that'll be tomorrow. So one of these guys, I can't remember the name. It was that guy, Griffin, not Edward Griffin. the kid with the first name Griffin, and he did a really good video about the armchair. That's it, the armchair historian. And I think we can. Got it. Good. Okay, this is gonna be a real treat right here. Okay, so first we're gonna pull up the bullshit video. At least I would say it's partial bullshit at the very least. I mean, we'll hear it out. But essentially what happens is when you go on BitChute, you have Nazis all up in the comments, like everywhere. And this is like my new account, so I think some of the stuff in this new account is a bit sparse. Like I'm not seeing as much as I usually see. So I'm gonna log into my Boomer account, as I call it, which has the same name as my YouTube account. And there we go. Now we have all the Boomer conservative stuff here, and all of the you know, stuff with the, shots and all of that. And this guy's on YouTube. I got some bone to pick with this guy. Not really a bone to pick, but you know what? I'm gonna do a what's that called? A react video with this guy's content. Yeah, that's what I would do. But you go in the comments on any video here, even the somewhat like agreeable people, and even some semi-agreeable people, but essentially like this one here, I have a feeling this person's gonna go down some anti-Semitic rabbit holes just because they got an ugly old lady on there. And it might not even be the news network. It might just be, I don't know. Let's see what happens. I shouldn't be commenting here. Here we are. This guy, he's always got like a negative tone about everything. He might not be wrong, but I mean, we'll play it by ear. Okay, so where to begin? So this guy's gonna bitch and moan. He's gonna bitch and moan that Elon is censoring people on Twitter for one reason or another. And how new or old is this video? Okay, so this video was posted. See, I hate when you can't find the date on a video. Like, I want to know when it was posted. I guess it's a recent video. I can't be certain. And here we are, December 17th. Okay, so it's a very recent video. It's today.
What's interesting, by the way, is as I look on my phone, when I tried to go to the profile, it just told me that the account was permanently suspended. Sorry for the delay. I probably should have managed this before we went live, but tweets like this, they just don't show up. They're just not there. He's listed as all these different shadow bannings. The other day, Twitter demanded that he re-log in out of nowhere. Even told him a few times, sorry, we couldn't even find your account. Now, yeah, these could all be glitches, but because if it were them, I would say there was no enjoy it too. Here's Liberty Lockdown. Still getting a search ban, a ghost ban. These things are, it's for sure happening right now. Here's Ben Collins pointing out Twitter just banned the account of Andrew Lawrence, who works at the left-wing blog Media Matters, for spam, which these seem to be the 7-day blocks where they're still up, but they're just not able to access it. Either way, we know this is happening all over the place. You think Media Matters is somebody I'm going to defend? For crying out loud. I've done entire segments on this group specifically, but it doesn't matter, does it? It's not about, they're a lefter, or they're a part of the government, so we shouldn't care. Yes, you should.
Now, this guy might not be wrong with his super, reasonable, balanced approach. However, is this one of the media organizations that reposted the doxing tweet? Basically, there was a tweet that linked to a post on Mastodon. And essentially, this post doxed the location of Elon's private jet or something like that. The jet that his kids fly on. And it wouldn't be a big deal to Elon if you posted this information later on in the day. But essentially, the information is not exactly publicly available. But if you write some code and you're able to scrape, information from certain sources, you can surmise where that private jet is in the present moment. And so someone decided to do that. They went out of their way to do this, and they were like, aha, there it is. And so their claim is, we didn't dox anyone. We didn't dox Elon's home address. But yet some of these people, these journalists, these tech journalists, are going out of their way to, basically give off the location of Elon's private jet in order to pretty much, I think, threaten the guy, in a roundabout way. It's not a direct threat, it's not a legal threat, but it's enough to be, I think enough to get on someone's nerves, enough that if the roles were reversed and, those people were in a position of power, they might consider it doxing just the same. So, I just thought that was possibly related, but I don't know. The fact that, this was a week ago, maybe not. I remember a while back, this was the thing, I think a couple of years ago, people would say, Twitter is a private company, they can do whatever they want. Now that the roles are reversed, you do hear a lot of bitching and moaning about, censorship when it does happen.
Unless they could be sure and put it into policy. Now, I want to finish by pointing out that we've talked about something like this before. Derek wrote this article on July 7th, 2020. The vaccine bait and switch. As millions pulled from WHO, remember Trump pulled millions of dollars out of the WHO and everyone said, yay, look, we knew it. What he did right alongside that was give billions.
That would be interesting if that's what happened, because I do remember the funding being pulled from the WHO at the time. But yes, I did hear that rumor that money was sent to Gavi. Here we are. Elon jet data is actually private, not public. Look into it. He has paid for his jet to be private. It is not publicly available information unless some tech journalist writes some code that doxes it, which it's not the strict definition of doxing, but yes, effectively it's doxing. Moving on from there. They're going to start hiding flights, which they probably do already. Hope they get lost. Huh. The journalist doxed private real-time personal information. Enough said. Elon's Twitter followers definitely lulled a bunch of sheep back to sleep. So you got a little bit of an interesting discussion here. Then you get some Bible verses here. And Bible verses aren't a problem. It just sometimes doesn't make sense when it's coming from people on this side. Here we are. Okay, so this one is insanity. This is exactly what I was talking about. I don't even want to read this out loud. But this person says they are a J. And he says, we run this bitch. Deal with it, lol. And then he's got a video which is probably some Nazi bullshit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Steve Eyes. You're on the Eyes is Watching channel. I am going to do an update on my ancestry results because they keep updating and people have been asking me to do one on my last update.
Surprise, I'm a Jew. So in other words, he's not actually a Jew, right? It's just that he determines that there are, I guess, ancestries. He has this ancestry that I guess he shares with Jewish people. But so what? Does that make him Jewish? Now, sure, to a hardcore Nazi, yeah, I guess it matters. But kind of stupid to me.
And it surprised me, to say the least. So they've changed the name now. And I am 29% from the Levant. So 54% from Anatolia and the Caucasus. Broad. They weren't specific in any way. They just said Middle East. So now I click Levant, and as you can see, Iraq lit up, but it's a darker shade. So I guess they don't fully accept Iraq as a part of the Levant. So very interesting here. So it says Levant, primarily located in Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, Syrian Arab Republic. Interesting, right? 29% from there. So about this region, our Levant region radiates outward from Lebanon to include Syria, Jordan, Israel, and the Palestinian territories along the as Amastris, cities in the region at DNA. So I don't know what exactly it's going by. I don't know how accurate it is, but there you have it, folks. That's my ethnicity
See,
estimate.
Baghdad sucks. Jays suck. Good Jays do not exist for one simple reason. Every Jay acts in bad faith. Like, this is the kind of shit you see on this website. And then, you know, this guy thinks that because this guy submitted for a DNA test, that he has now been cloned. And if we don't freely give away our signature, why would we give away our genetic code? He's one of those types, I guess, you know. Which, I mean, there is some credence to the idea of not giving your signature to just anybody. But, yeah, you know, I say the more credence would be, there's credence in the idea that the ancestry results are not something to put a lot of stake into, and I agree that I wouldn't really count on them heavily. Oh, great. Here we go again. So, like I said, on BitChute, you're always going to have, you know, these types of comments. You're going to have a person who is just saying, Baghdad sucks, Jays suck, good Jays do not exist for one simple reason: every Jay acts in bad faith. Then we scroll down here, and because this guy took a DNA test in which he determined he was a Jew, and he's not necessarily a Jew, just that he originates from the Levant, which encompasses or radiates around, you know, Jordan, Syria, Israel, the Palestinian territories, and, you know, like that general area. Here, what was it? Like around here? I think he, like, showed multiple regions, but one of the maps was totally in the Levant area. Yeah, there it is. So you see, like, a little bit of Israel, Jordan, Syria, and a snip of darkly shaded Iraq. And, you know, so I wouldn't put a lot of, you know, I wouldn't put a lot of stake, or I wouldn't necessarily count on these particular tests, but, you know, they're kind of neat. Just, I wouldn't necessarily take them to heart. And so we saw the first comment. The second comment I saw, well, there's a lot of comments here that is just outright racist, and it's all over this platform. You are a poor Jay. Not one of the bloodline families descended from Khazarian people who had to choose either Islam or Judaism to survive. They chose Judaism but are fake Jays, as they do not follow Judaism but Satanism. What the fuck up? Shut the fuck up, this guy says. So I don't know, like, this guy's actually not necessarily, I don't know if he's hating on Jewish people or saying Jewish people are good, but not these Jewish people. This guy saying Jews are not a race, they are a nation, and they're not to be in need to be circumcised. Wait. And to be in it, you need to be circumcised and submit to Jewish authority. They might resemble a race at different times, blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, it's an interesting question, but Israel disagrees and does a blood test to determine if you have bloodline privilege to return. I don't know if that is true, but that's interesting. Having blood in common would not make them the same race. There's black people who have the same commonality with whites and Asians, but you would not say the same race. Use common sense. They are not a race. They are a nation. Okay. That's why you are lying on your garbage podcast. Stop trolling. Truth Channel is JOO. No, dumbass. Carbon dioxide poison carries flu-like symptoms which can turn into lung infections, pneumonia. I'm not trying to F with your mind. This was a staged coup. You need to Google it. Or maybe maybe not Google since K's effed up the internet, but still, there's information out there. Okay, I don't know. I'm sorry. I went down a terrible rabbit hole. This is just awful. This is internet AIDS right here. Like, I'm going to have to just nuke this stream right now. This is like, this stream has to go. I'm sorry I went down this rabbit hole, really. Like, we're going to rename this stream right now to Down an Awful Rabbit Hole. Okay. That is now the name of this stream. Now, I don't know if Restream is going to like it that I renamed this stream. But yeah, we're gonna like yeah, I think we'll finish this out. I'm gonna record this a little bit and then we're gonna end it. But moving along, so what else do we have? Whoops, sorry, I was doing a little update there. What other anti-Semitic comments do we have here? It's all over this platform. I don't have to look hard. So, okay, actually, forget about the anti-Semitic comments because those come naturally on this platform. Not super natural. I'm not saying the whole platform is full of those types, but they are all over the place. Like, they really are, you know. So, let's just get back to basics.
Dianne Feinstein has been a sitting senator for over 30 years, and as she approaches 90 years in age, her mental health is taking a turn for the worse, and some are calling for her to retire. I'm Gary Franchi at News Breaks every day here. Be the first to know when. Tap subscribe.
So this is actually pretty good. No anti-Semitic comments here. So this is good. This channel seems to have a reasonable viewership, at least in terms of not being anti-Semitic. This guy, I don't think he's anti-Semite, but I wouldn't be surprised if you find comments. So basically, on BitChute, you'll have people who go to every channel and they'll post the same link over and over again. And so in this case, this guy keeps posting the link to the guy who did the ancestry test and determined that he was part Jewish, or at least it was in his DNA.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Here we are. Huh. Okay, so anyway, let's get right to it.
Boom. Happenings, boom. I feel like I'm forgetting something. What am I forgetting? I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me. Anyway, welcome to the Restream Friends, I think. If I got
Now, this is an old one, but Elon did speak at the World Economic Forum many years ago and expressed these opinions. You know, at this point, he might have had a change of heart. I would still keep an eye on him, but it is worth noting.
Everything hurts. I'm very.
Yeah, don't even try to do 500 push-ups in 24 hours. It's just stupid. What? What the hell happened here? Where did this comment come from? You're going to hurt yourself, and I wouldn't even prove a point. Start out with 100 push-ups, 4 sets of 25 or 5 sets of 20. Do them every other day over the years and add more to it. I was given this advice by a 60-year-old man, had the body of an athlete, of a 25-year-old athlete. I won't tell you how many decades ago that was, but I will tell you it was a very good advice. So, okay, so he's saying do 4 sets of 25 or 5 sets of 20 every other day. So, okay, if you could bang out 25 push-ups. And this is good advice. While going through BitChute and looking for sketchy comments, I stumbled into this gem of a comment. It says, don't try doing 500 push-ups in 24 hours. That's just stupid. You're going to hurt yourself and it wouldn't even prove a point. Start out with 100 push-ups, 4 sets of 25 or 5 sets of 20. Do them every other day. Over the years, add more to it. He was given this advice by a 60-year-old man who had the body of an athletic 25-year-old. He says he won't tell you how many decades ago that was, but I will tell you it was very good advice. And you know what? I agree. So, just to reiterate, do 5 sets of 25, 5 sets of 20 push-ups, or what did he say? He said, do 4 sets of 25 push-ups or 5 sets of 20 push-ups every other day. So not every day. That's not too bad, right? So today or tomorrow. In fact, it have to be tomorrow. I bang out 100 push-ups. So I do 25, boom, 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 25, done. Wait a few minutes, take a break, sip some tea, sip some water, do something, maybe play a little Nintendo or do something, cardio, some cardio, jump around, whatever. Do another 25 a couple of minutes later. Rinse and repeat. Do some cardio, watch some Star Trek while dancing or something, and do 25 again and again. Boom, you got 100 done. You just finished your day's push-ups. And I'm inspired by this. I am inspired by this concerned citizen. That's his name. I'm inspired to the point that if he has a channel, I'm going to subscribe and I'm going to copy and paste this into my notes. Whoops, not on that window. Oh, is this fucking this guy? Let me see. Wait, which guy is this? Hope it's not that Andrew guy. Oh, no, it's not. So he's wrong about doing 500 push-ups. It's an interesting idea. You shouldn't ban the guy for it, but I think someone should give correct advice. And that's what this man did here. Gave good, correct advice. Do 100 push-ups every other day and do it in 4 sets of 25. 25 push-ups, that's not unattainable. That's quite doable. It might be challenging if you haven't done it in a while, but you work your way up to 20, 25. If you can't do 25, you do 20. If you can do 20 in a single set, you do another 4 sets after that, and boom, you got it. So I recommend it. You will build up your pectorals. It'll help your arms. It might help proportion your body a little bit so you can spread out that padding if you have some padding on your belly. Now, abs are a little trickier because if you still have belly fat, growing abs is not going to make the belly fat go away. But that's another topic in of itself. You just got to strike some balance in life. And with that, I will conclude this portion of my recording session. I thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. And for now, I shall end transmission. Okay, that was a video. I'm not really ending transmission. I'm just recording a video. Now let's get back to the other topic. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this guy annoys me. So sometimes he's right about certain things, but he kind of pisses me off sometimes. Now, this guy's not entirely wrong about decentralized power sources. This is like a neat little thing, but he's playing Mr. Meteorologist. So that looks like it's only powering that one light bulb. it's still an interesting idea. You're using existing, water flow to run a generator. But if all you can do is power that stupid LED, I don't know what good it is. I guess he's just doing a technological demonstrator here. If anything, you would hook up a battery pack to this and charge your battery so that you can use it to charge your laptop or your phone or some crap like that. Oh, it's beautiful. I love those buttresses. They're not entirely wrong, but some of these predictions have been stated for a long time. I'm still in favor of buying metals, but there's definitely a way to discuss it that I think is a less... I used to be Mr. Doom, and 10 years went by and nothing bad happened. So I'm a little more cautious about my predictions of Doom. Okay. There's the kicker. Buy the prepper shall. Okay, so now let's get right here. This is a video that is going to counter another video. And what's really cool about this video is, for whatever reason, it was recorded in an ultra widescreen aspect ratio. So on a normal TV, this would be in letterbox in a cinematic aspect ratio. But on this monitor, on my ultra widescreen monitor, this would be proper full screen. And we're going to demonstrate that because we can switch to this aspect ratio when we play it in full screen. But first, we're going to play the video in question. This is called The Economy of the Third Reich. And basically, some jerk-off would go around on BitChute and he would leave a link in every other video. He'd literally go to any and every channel on BitChute and leave a link to this video, basically saying that the Nazis are great and they did a great job with the economy. And it's like, he literally takes like the Nazi propaganda, or whoever made this video uses it, and they look at it unironically like, oh yeah, this is great. And I mean, this motherfucker has, some German name. He got the swastika emoji or whatever you call that ASCII ANSI character. Here we are. All Hitler wanted to do was make Germany great again, and world Jewry couldn't have that. And we're kicking the hook-nosed ass. Am I gonna get in trouble from reading this? Jewry couldn't have that, so they sicked their Freemason lapdog, commie at heart Roosevelt and Truman, feeding the commie Bolsheviks in Russia arms, supplies, monies, and a two-front war. The might of the dropped... dude, this is a run-on sentence. There's no periods in here. Yeah, so if you want to read that, you can read this. You can pause my video and read that. I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to read poor sentence structure. I'm not doing it. This is not going to happen. I only read sentences that, have sentence structure. This does not have it. And so I'm not going to read it. Now, let's test 1, 2, 1, 2. Sound check. Okay, good. My microphone is a little louder. Okay. I wish I had a little paint to put on my microphone so I can adjust it. Testing 1, 2. Okay, that'll have to do. Okay, so all right, let's get right to it. Like I said, this is a video that was making rounds on BitChute like last year. Someone would post this link, and it says it's been up for 6 months. I think it's a repost. but I do remember seeing this being posted in the comments on many video channels. You know, like it didn't really matter who was uploading the video on a given channel. They would just go to the comments and drop a link. So let me just goose up my volume and we'll watch it together.
Inviolable in the relationship between the economy and the people. The establishment of a self-sufficient economic system combined with the realization of freedom of food are the primary goals of its economic policy. After the National Survey in 1933, self-sufficiency was the only way to maintain Germany's economy because there was also a shortage of lenders abroad. So the Reich government began to control
what's
the
up,
economy with 4-year plans.
Yeah, you've tuned into one hell of a rabbit hole if you're still watching, my friend.
World War, the
This
German
is
Reich grew
like a
to
situation
great
right now.
economic strength. The rapid reduction in
Well,
unemployment
listen, I had one person
contributed
tune
to
in.
the approval of the NSDAP's
I had one person tune in just
by the
now, and they were
population.
like, my
Not
uncle had me
only-
play What's in My Pocket, which sounds like a Game Boy advertisement. Which is cool, I guess. But, I feel awful that anybody would tune into what I'm watching right now, you know? Like, this is like, I feel really guilty for playing this stuff, you know? Like, but we gotta do it in the name of historical context. So, here goes nothing. Okay, so basically, blah blah blah. This guy's saying,
the government and the party, but every citizen would contribute to job
so basically he's
creation with
describing
ideas and
a
suggestions.
German Third Reich utopia.
The government wanted to give a first impetus through large public works, but the economy was also asked to take initiatives to eliminate unemployment, said the economist Hans Kerl. The primary goal of Hitler's economic policy, represented by his economics minister Hjalmar Schacht, was the economic reorganization of Germany with the aim of self-sufficiency. Economic policy under Adolf Hitler is inextricably linked to the program of National Socialism. True to Hitler's motto, work creates money and not vice versa, a system of mutual, direct exchange of goods with other states was created, which was to avoid the so-called interest bondage. These goals were set in 2 4-year programs. The first 4-year program, from 1933, was intended to improve the food situation of the German people and bring about a marked reduction in unemployment. The domestic money cycle was supported by the introduction of so-called Mefo bills. The second 4-year plan was about increasing Germany's self-sufficiency and its exportability so that the blockades enacted by Britain in the past Great War would be ineffective for the future. The German economy would be restructured without foreign loans. The profits of foreign companies could only be redeemed by exchanging German products, goods for goods. This system was primarily joined by South American countries. The result was foreign exchange without foreign currency. This system suddenly left the largest lenders and beneficiaries of world trade and former victorious powers of Versailles, the USA, UK and France out of the picture. Germany
Now,
rose
this sounds
quickly
very
to an
interesting on the
economic
surface.
power
It does. It
whose
sounds
rise
almost
compet-
like believably good. And this is a thing I might rewatch again in closer detail because I would want to take notes and then follow up on those notes to see, you know, if I could verify some detail, some of the claims or statements being made here. But I do have some concerns here. So essentially, we have a pretty rosy economic picture right here. But somewhere between 1933 and 1940 something, there was some things done that would also kind of, spur economic growth. Stealing from people. So, for example, if you have a class of people whom you want to, kick out of your country, you would kick them out of their houses, maybe send them to a camp, take their houses, take their wealth, take their stuff, sell their stuff. Heck, one of the things I remember learning about Hitler doing, he would give homes to SS officers. So let's say they kicked a prominent Jewish person out of their home. You have a well-to-do Jewish person living in Germany. They kick him out of their mansion, probably send him to a concentration camp. If they're lucky, they get out of the country, but they lose their home. They work hard. They get a nice house, and then they get kicked out of the country, or they run away, hopefully get out of the country before they get sent to a camp. In any case, they plundered someone's belongings, right? They either, ousted them from their home or kicked them out of the country. Stole their home. After stealing their home, they give it to an SS officer. Somebody gets a promotion. They say, "Hey, Hans, congratulations on your promotion. Since you're going to marry my daughter, I'll give you this really nice mansion that we stole from a poor Jewish guy." It's fucked up, right? But that's one of the things that happen. Okay, so you do that on a large enough scale throughout your country, and, your government can find money to do stuff. You could do a lot of public works projects if you're stealing money from an entire class, an entire ethnic group, an entire religion of people.
President Roosevelt later said, "Does anyone want to say that Germany's attempt to dominate trade in Central Europe was not one of the main reasons for the war?" Contrary to a widespread view, expenditure on armaments in the years 1933 to 1935 initially played only a minor role in economic development. In 1936 to 1937, it was moderate, and only in 1938 to 39 did it play a major role, but even then they remained far behind investments in the non-arms related area. A normal level of expenditure on the Wehrmacht and armaments was only exceeded when unemployment was almost eliminated. Adolf Hitler
that's interesting.
explained
When
on
unemployment
February 1st,
was almost eliminated, so he's saying that
in front of
up
the
to 1938, the expenditures on military spending were not that high, and they didn't really increase military expenditures until after unemployment was all but eliminated. And that's why I go to this segue here to another content creator on YouTube. And I think like some portion at the early stage of the war, I'm skipping a lot. You can see I'm at the tail end of the video. I'm literally at the, I'm on an ultra wide. So yeah, you can see right here, we got this much video left. Okay, so we're at the end of the video here, or near it. And this is perfect for my ultra widescreen monitor. So now let's just play it back and hear him out.
Was, on paper at least, fully eradicated. The results and the agricultural producing thousands upon of trade by Nazis. People's Car campaign went straight towards war spending. Car ownership in Germany did noticeably increase during this period, but the Autobahn was not nearly the success portrayed by Nazi propaganda. Even by 1939, railways remained the most common form of transport in the country. These years of spending on military rearmament did not go unnoticed. As Germany was not yet ready for war, Hitler had to fabricate a variety of excuses to justify the expansion of the armed forces to foreign powers. To the surprise of many, Germany was suddenly very interested in producing thousands upon thousands of innocent passenger planes and agricultural tractors. These vehicles only existed on paper, however. There was nothing innocent nor agricultural about the Messerschmitts and Panzers rolling off the assembly lines, or the rifles and howitzers emerging under the table from civilian manufacturers across the country. This disguised military buildup culminated in 1935 when mandatory conscription was passed, and by the end of the year, the army had grown to nearly 800,000 men, over 8 times the maximum set by the Treaty of Versailles. With this act, the last of Germany's non-Jewish unemployed men were swept into military service, and unemployment was, on paper at least, fully eradicated. The result of all of this was that of Germany's non-Jewish unemployed men were swept into military service, and unemployment
essentially,
was, on
you
paper
put
at
a
least,
lot of men
fully eradicated.
into the military.
The result
Whoever you get fit into the military, that's one way to get rid of the remaining unemployment. Now, this is an interesting aspect right here,
of all of
because, you know,
this was that
before,
Germany entered the
in the other video, we saw that really cute chart,
Second-
right? You know, let's see if we can find that little chart. I want to find that chart again because
James
I think it would really fit side by side nicely.
of 28.
Here we are, good. Okay, so we got this
37.
chart where it's like showing, oh, look at the economic growth. This doing so well, these Nazis, right? Let's take another angle here.
World War far better off than it had been. The result of all of this was that Germany entered the Second World War far better off than it had been at the end of the last Great War. The gross national product had surged to well over 100 billion Reichsmarks in 1939 from a low of 60 billion in 1932. And to all, it seemed that Germany had fully regained its strength. But while unemployment was down and manufacturing
Hey, what's up,
and capital
Padawan?
were
I'm going down
many of
a
those so-called
weird
employed
rabbit hole
Germans were
before I fire up another segment here because, I don't know, just kind of got inspired. And basically, I'm just comparing this BitChute video that I remember like 6 months, even a year ago, this guy or some guy in BitChute or a number of guys on BitChute would repost this video titled The Economy of the Third Reich or some shit like that. And basically, it all says it right here. Basically saying, oh, you know, Hitler was doing all this great stuff and it was all fun and games and, you know, all of this utopian stuff. So you get these like rosy economic numbers here. And like you said, basically conscription. Yeah, absolutely. By expanding the draft to the remainder of the population that they were willing to put into the armed services, they were able to get rid of the remainder of unemployment, which is not some great, you know, economic achievement, you know. That's essentially what's being depicted here. In this video, the claim being made was that they didn't start putting a lot of money into military expenditure until, you know, like after 1939, you know, some shit like that. So anyway.
slaving away in a labor camp, and that capital was those so-called employed Germans were slaving away in a labor camp, and that capital was contingent on the complete success of the war. Further, the benefits from all of this economic success were skewed heavily towards those considered true Germans and came at the expense of everyone else. Like the Autobahn unable to carry Hitler's tanks, the Nazi economy was shiny on the surface, but hollow at its core.
So yeah, that is a longer video that anyone can watch in its entirety if you so desire. Probably post a link to that. I'm not going to post the link to the BitChute video, but you know, anybody can search on Google the economics of the Third Reich on BitChute if you know you really want to do that. So we'll just put that link there for reference for anybody interested in that. Now, this was supposed to be a straight editing stream, and I went down multiple rabbit holes here. And at this point, if I end the stream, I might lose potential viewers who are watching it now. I don't know if there's anybody even watching it now. How do I check that? Let's see if I can check that. If I go to my own channel, I might be able to check this. Because if nobody's watching, I'd end it. But you know what? I'm going to keep it rolling. Channel. I'm just going to keep it rolling. Might be able to check this. Yeah. Alrighty. So nobody's watching. what I was doing was I was doing some editing, and I've already took care of this. So I got my timeline. This is like basically a TV show that was aired on my local public access station called Industrial Television, and this is something I upload to a BitChute channel by that name. And let me make sure I'm on full screen. Yeah. Drunk History, that thing is hilarious. So if you love Drunk History, you're gonna love this. So if you go to a BitChute channel called Industrial Television, this is a weird show, and I used to post it as not safe for work, but I get more views if I don't post it as not safe for work. And what I did was I have a bunch of VHS tapes that were recorded from a local public access station. And what this show is a compilation where these guys have a video library. One of these guys, or each of these guys, have their own video library. And they would do, in the late 90s and early 2000s, they would basically just put together clips, old movie trailers, and random content, episodes of Diver Dan, episodes of some other weird cartoon, pretty much like stuff that has a lower production value than Bullwinkle, although Bullwinkle is pretty good. And then all throughout the video, these two guys will be sitting on their lazy boy or in their chairs watching TV, reacting to what pops up on TV. So, you know, you get this.
Like this, I will destroy my enemies.
Yeah. No, they'll make a comment.
I shall take your shape, and in your likeness, I will destroy my enemies.
That's funny, Padawannabe. What you said, not just what these guys said.
Men die by the cruelest of executions. A beautiful woman is the devil's own temptress, exploiting the young and innocent.
Oh, that's cool. I don't care how bad the VFX look. I think that's cool. So, do we get to see David throw a stone at Goliath? Goliath and the vampires. Samson versus the vampire women.
Vampire women. Deep in the bowels of the earth live the most savage and vicious.
The most vicious of all women. She looks kind of hot. Not her. She looks vicious.
To make themselves beautiful.
Okay, she looks hot now.
Samson and the vampire women.
Yeah, that's basically what we're talking about here. Yeah, Mystery Science, Beavis and Butthead meets Mystery Science Theater 3000. That's a good, that's a good way to put it.
Swear that a vampire murdered the girl.
Now, these guys were basically doing reaction videos before we had, oh god. Yeah, so also, this is like a Romeo and Juliet film.
Lock it to me! Oh. Here come the prince.
Like, so this was being played on public access community TV on Saturday night after midnight, maybe like 1 a.m. And my mom used to be a receptionist at the TV station, and obviously it had a lot of, you know, proper above board content. I mean, my mom did a proper legit TV show on this network. And one day, the Master Control guys accidentally put this on at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. My mom gets a call, and she's being told, oh, hey, guess what's on TV? So she had to run to Master Control and be like, hey, guys, you gotta pull the tape, like, right now. Because this is not supposed to play during the daytime.
Sock it to me!
I know, right?
But there is no other door.
I think Sock It To Me is like a Nixon reference.
Dear Prince, you must promise to keep my secret. If my dear Romeo ever discovered what... I would kill myself.
The secret sex
I don't know if it's
lives
like
of Romeo and
all
Juliet.
out on YouTube right
A
now.
picture of vivid beauty. A passionate presentation of two love-starved teenagers.
Oh yeah, about that. They sometimes have nylons, sometimes they don't. I mean, you know, at one point they had nylons on earlier in the video.
Starring Lily St. Cyr. It's new, it's daring, it's exciting.
I love those,
Exotic,
what is it, thigh highs or higher?
most sensational
Yeah, those are thigh highs, yeah.
filmed in dazzling Eastman color. a sensuous striptease dance by glamorous Lily St. Cyr. Appealing and revealing in varieties.
Is that bra legal in 1960? Betty Page.
See lovely Betty Page's scorching harem dance. And you'll know why Betty is the nation's #1 pinup girl.
Is Betty the Page the bitch from, the lady from, Orville? I mixed up a name. I forgot. Is Betty Page the old lady from Orville? You know, 9 to 5?
By Irving Claw, world famous pinup king.
Come on already! Get naked!
With its beautiful dancing girls. It has comedy routines and a novelty dance number by clever female impersonator Vicky Lynn, and fresh new songs. Beneath the Gallic moon,
I'm reacting to a reaction video.
Don't miss this thrilling
Yeah, Eastman Color.
film.
Okay, so it's not the... I'm mixing them up with the other lady. Oh no, so okay, this is not the one. But there's a video clip I have on my video editing timeline where there's a kung fu movie and the two guys sitting in the chairs have these glasses on with funny eyes, if you catch my drift, you know? And they're being mad sketchy, you know, they're doing the whole, you know, I can't imitate it because I don't think it would be allowable. Oh, Japan.
The excitement builds for the action in Tokyo at the first World Open Karate Tournament.
It's gotta be bad for the joint there.
The limits of physical endurance in training and combat.
Willie Williams, was he a big football player?
Freestyle fighters. The unbelievable speed and real destructive power unleashed by the Fighting Black King. The crowd cheers the punishing blows of the champion kickboxer. And the electrifying defense against the samurai.
Paul is Martin.
Karate's deadliest champions in full contact combat. Smashing, kicking, punching in the greatest freestyle all martial arts show. The world's roughest freestyle combat competition. The closest thing to fighting to death. The fluid movements, the lethal blows. Power, skill, and speed are with them. Against any weapon, they are unbeatable. The fighting spirit of the Fighting Black Kings.
Yeah, so the show was called Industrial Television. That's their logo. Now, the way I did this was I captured it from VHS tapes. But I have a very special process. I actually go out of the VCR into a camcorder, out the FireWire port, and then into a computer. Then I run the video recordings through a video encoder. Do I have my video encoder open? I do not have it open right now, but I have an application that I use in a very particular method to de-interlace the video to create better quality video. Oh, shit. Man, you're missing out, man. No, I'm kidding. Padawan be tuned out just now, but that's okay. But this, I'm gonna leave this one running here. So, this I might even have to upload to a different video. So, real quick, so how I captured this, I took the VHS tapes, I captured them into my PC, and I de-interlaced them. I use this de-interlace filter, and what it does is it takes away the scan lines, because otherwise you get these horizontal lines anytime there's any movement on the screen. And after I de-interlace it, then I run it through the editing program. And it's actually 60 frames a second. So we're able to take 29 frames a second where it's got alternate lines, the A field and the B field, and create progressive scan de-interlaced video at 60 frames a second. And that is what we're seeing now.
To meet Eve's needs for electricity, as well as the needs of the communities they serve, the investor-owned electric companies of New England built more and more generating plants. Plants that required more than just time or money to build. Foresight and vision were called on to guarantee that not only Eve's present needs were met, but also her future needs.
I may have to goose up the audio. I apparently might have to re-upload this to BitChute and give more treatment to the audio track because it is a bit on the low side. So that's the thing. So they don't record VHS at 50 frames a second. But think about it like this. Okay, so TV content that was on VHS was done at 29.97 frames a second. So for all intents and purposes, 30 frames a second. But old TVs and most new TVs are, you know, they have a 60 hertz refresh rate. And in progressive scan, on a modern TV, 60 hertz is equivalent to 60 frames per second, which is what we're dealing with on most of YouTube and what you're looking at now. You either, you know, you got a 60 frames a second monitor all of the time, but a lot of the video you watch might be 24 or 29. Now, here's the thing. This was interlaced video. And so when I got it off the VHS tape and I digitized it, anytime this lady moves ahead, anytime the camera pans, you see these horizontal lines called combing artifacts. And they are a direct result of the fact that the footage is interlaced. And so we have two sets of lines. You have your A field and you got your B field. And it's constantly alternating the lines. So instead of going one frame after the other like a flip book, it's almost like you run the flip book through a paper shredder. Yeah, well, see, I don't know exactly how it does it, but the method I'm using is a little more advanced because when you de-interlace the video, when you try to, you know, combine it, when you try to get rid of the scan lines, if you use the lazy de-interlacing filter, it'll discard half the lines and then kind of blend the remaining lines together. In other cases, it'll interpolate the gap between the lines. And so, depending on the de-interlacing method you use, it'll either cut the resolution in half, or it'll look pretty good most of the time, but then the way that the camera pans will sometimes reveal evidence that a crappy de-interlacing filter is used. And in fact, at some point I want to go over it, you know. I don't want to ruin the showing of the New England Electric Company unless this is boring, but I mean, you know, you got a pretty lady selling electricity here, so you got that going for it. But if I was to pull up one of the original sources,
when power demands are expected to increase,
put it on my other monitor. I'm going to find you an original source right now.
To pool their talent and resources.
Did I re-encode this already?
Their common purpose? To build the
okay, real quick, so a little sidebar here. So, okay, we know Arrested Development. Now, in VLC Media Player, by default, it automatically de-interlaces the video. It looks pretty good, especially with DVD. If I press D on my keyboard, it turns off the de-interlacing filter. Now we're running at 30 frames a second, but you got these horizontal lines. So essentially what it's doing is alternating between the, you know, basically it's got even and odd lines. And instead of going one frame after the other, it's updating the next pair of lines, then it's updating the previous pair of lines. And this is how we're getting the illusion of movement. But because of the interlaced content, anytime we have any movement and I pause it, like right there, you get these ugly horizontal lines here. And so a de-interlacing filter will address that. But the problem is not all de-interlacing filters work the same. We got all of these right here in the list here. And generally Bob and your Diff2X do the best job. But being that these are real-time de-interlacers, they're both gonna, you know, do questionable things. This filter will make things look really smooth. and it doesn't get all juddery. It doesn't cause jitteriness on the video. So that's, you know, what that one does. Bob, on the other hand, works a little different, but it works pretty good too. Now, what happens is sometimes you have a moving element and you know, get rid of the horizontal lines, but it's the stationary elements that will look worse. So you'll lose a little bit of detail in that picture frame, depending on what filter you're using. So yes, anything that's moving will look better, but if you have a stationary element, it'll actually look a little better when you turn off the deinterlacing. You get a little more detail in certain areas with the deinterlacing off. So it's like, okay, well, do I want to see these ugly horizontal lines when someone's moving? Or do I want to like lose a little bit of definition in the stationary elements? So that's like a balancing act. And I'll answer your comparison question in a second. I'm just going to switch to Bob. And once in a while, you'll see like a straight line or a diagonal line, and it'll look like a flight of stairs. And that's usually one of the issues with some of the lesser filters out there. So let's see. It's still better than digital skipping. Yeah, it's still better than digital. And that's the thing. So some deinterlacing filters will make it look like it's digitally skipping. Absolutely. That is a real issue that we have to deal with sometimes, you know? And, you know, like, you know, just like the way I found it was, I found out if I use this video encoder and I pick slow, and this is basically a step up from a handbrake, I can get good clean deinterlacing. Now that said, I can also do it in DaVinci Resolve. I can also do it here. DaVinci Resolve, just for a quick reference, it does a great job. Like when you go into the export portion of the thing here, what you do is you pick 59 frames a second, but you could choose something else. You could do like, you know, 29 frames a second. Now, typically I would have to click on the gear icon, which I'm currently blocking with my head, but there's a settings icon here, and I would have to change the timeline settings ahead of time. I don't think I could do it now. I think I have to do it at the creation of the video. Now, my original content is 30 frames a second, but I tell it to use a 60 frames a second timeline. I tell it to deinterlace my footage in the settings somewhere. Where the hell is it? Right here. And essentially when I apply some deinterlacing between those two things, it's able to spit out a nice 60 frames a second video. But I don't trust the free version when it comes to deinterlacing, and that's why I use this application to pick the more, you know, advanced one. Instead of going through all of the settings, I found out if you make it too aggressive, it'll take like half a day to deinterlace an hour or two of video. But if I pick very slow as a preset, and then the Bob checkbox, if I uncheck Bob, it gives you 30 frames a second. If you check on Bob, you get 60 frames a second. So I said, you know what? I'll do this 60 frames a second because, you know, it's the 21st century. So now let's see if I can answer any questions here while I play the Atomic Lady.
Station.
Yeah, that's true. When you pause the VHS tape, now, when you pause it on a VCR, you'll see some of that, especially on a modern TV.
500,000 kilowatts. Enough power to supply the electrical needs of cities.
Now, all plasma TVs, I actually like plasmas. Don't even get me started. Did you know that I am the founding moderator of r/Plasma TV? I kid you not. I'm going to show it off right now because I am proud that this exists and that I was the asshole who created it. Yeah, see, look, r/Plasma TV. I founded this shit. That's why there's a fucking long text wall over here. I should probably clean that up and put something shorter there, you know? But people just come in there. I'm very laissez-faire about the moderation. People will post like they'll say, hey, I got a busted plasma. How do I fix this weird issue? How do I deal with burn-in and image retention? In fact, I got to upload a video that will clean the image retention artifacts from a TV that has mild burn-in. But, why am I obsessed with plasmas? In fact, I think that this is the TV I have. No, I don't have this one. I have a newer model of this TV. And Panasonic made some really good plasmas. But I'm not going to I'm not going to proselytize plasma right now. But I'm just going to say there are some really special plasmas out there. Like, I will say that. Like, you know, the only thing that can compete with a good plasma is OLED right now. But before OLED came out,
Only a small portion of this land
in my
remains
opinion,
as
and in
of
many
the
people's
past hour.
opinion, there was no comparison. At the same time, you don't give a plasma to your boomer age father. You don't give a plasma to somebody who spends like 10 out of 14 hours a day watching CNN or Fox or something else, because you know they're gonna have that news logo burning into the corner, even with the new image, you know, pixel orbiter.
One of the first reactors of this
But
type
me personally,
was put
my
into
plasma, I
operation in
take
January
meticulous care of it.
1955 in Groton,
When I play games on it, I feel like I'm getting a great experience. When I watch 90s TV show, oh my god, it looks so beautiful. When I watch Babylon 5, remastered Babylon 5 episodes on my plasma, I fall in love every time. Like, it is just like, you know, when a chef does that, it's like that. It really is just wonderful. And it's because of the color gamut on a plasma. You get a clean 60 hertz. Whereas older LCD TVs would attempt to do 60 hertz, but on a bigger display panel, they had to cheat. Same thing with a lot of 120 hertz TVs. They're cheating to deliver that 120 hertz. A small computer monitor, that's different. They can give you a real 120 hertz, although a lot of companies also lie and, you know, pull marketing magic.
Checks and double checks will be made by the Atomic Energy Commission and by our own staffs during every phase of planning and construction.
A continuing study will be made of the plant and its relation to the river and the environment of the valley. Not only before the plant
That's interesting. Well, if people didn't hook up their plasmas correctly, you'd see a lot of sketchy shit. I remember my friend's parents' plasma, they had like component cables hooked up when, well, sometimes they had component cables, sometimes they had composite cables, and when they were using composite cables, they obviously weren't getting the best picture. But also, I remember noticing when first time I hooked my Xbox up using component cables, it was very finicky to signal. Like, it was like if I wiggled the cable the wrong way, I'd get like all kinds of like sparkliness and shit. And eventually I got a good set of component cables that didn't give me a hard time. But just recently, I bought a new HDMI adapter for my Xbox that goes straight from the back of the Xbox to an HDMI converter. It doesn't require an additional power source, and that one just works out of the box. So I've only used it a couple of times so far, but that does seem to deliver as good of a picture, if not slightly better, than the last adapter I bought.
Best of the new is a part of the tradition of New England. The Connecticut Yankee Atomic Project follows each of these New England traditions.
Oh, absolutely. The Sony Vega and some of those plasmas. My friend's dad got one in the late 90s. It was a beautiful Sony TV. I'm sure Star Wars and movies look good on it, but in those early plasmas, you had to be really protective of them to keep them in good condition. You would basically, you know, watch a movie, turn out the lights, you get a great picture, but they didn't perform, you know, super well if you had bright sunlight coming in and all of that. Like, that was something that later plasmas overcame. But what was really weird about my friend's dad's plasma was one day his son was home from college or some crap, and he had the curtain open, you know. I got a curtain. Anyway, I love playing with that. He left the curtain open, and the sunlight was hitting just like the first third of the screen. So if this is a plasma, the sunlight was hitting like this part of the screen, the first like few inches. And after the sun set, one day they turn on the TV, and there's like a green bar going up the entire first like fifth of the TV screen. Like the first few inches has this like slight green bar. It's like not really a green bar. It's more like a green hue or a green overcast. And, you know, this was something that, like, almost prevented my parents from getting a plasma, understandably so. But I was like, no, they put the new UV filter on. So, for whatever reason, I don't think they had a proper... I'm going to rewind that for you.
Touch that remote and I'll cut your cock off and sew it inside your mouth. Touch that remote and I'll cut your cock off and sew it inside your mouth.
I'll cut your cock off and sew it inside your mouth. That. And she got a website, yo. I forgot her name, but she has a website. She's like an actor, like for hire. You could like hire her to appear on your channel if you wanted to. Apparently, hell, I might even look her up. Although I don't know, you know, she hasn't updated her site in like a few years. Although pretty recently. So yeah, it did something. It ruined the phosphorescent gases or some shit, you know? and it was like a UV reaction with the chemical gases or whatever the hell it is. Whereas, also that TV, I don't think it had a proper UV filter. Newer plasmas, you have an anti-reflective coating on the front of the screen because one of the issues with plasma was the glass, layers of glass did reflect a lot of light. You know, and that could ruin people's experience. If you had a lamp in the corner of the room, so you put an anti-reflective coating on there. But in addition to that, there was a UV blocker layer to that anti-reflective coating that would protect it from the sunlight, as we mentioned earlier. Yeah, right? Nah, it wasn't Lorena Bobbitt, but she's like a sadomasochist. She appears later on. There's a clip of those two guys sitting in the chairs being tied up by her, and they're like sitting there like this. And she's like whipping them, and she's like, yeah, guys, you take it. And they're just like, you know, like they're being held hostage by her. It's, you know, I don't know. They used it for like a couple of episodes.
Easy. On target. 8 ball in the corner pocket.
Correct.
Well done, Skipper. Thanks, Coach. See you topside.
Taurus?
Now the animation here is really
Now, how
sketchy.
would you be guessing that?
Woman's intuition. It never fails.
Eavesdropping, more likely. He'll be right up, Crystal.
Good. I just taped an urgent call from the chief.
Well, now, business must be picking up. And about time, too. I never was much for this sitting around.
That'll be the day.
And what might that mean? It means you're lazier than a lizard on a warm rock. What?
Scott, we didn't hear you. I'm awfully glad you're back. I missed you.
We missed you. And this new mission came out just in time. What new mission?
Oh, we just got an urgent message from the chief. It's set up in the viewing room.
Let's go.
Following is a top-secret briefing from the head of Earth Intelligence.
Scott, Project Solar Mirror is in trouble. I'm sending you over to Venus to straighten it out. Now, here's the background. All the planets in our solar system have gotten together to build this giant mirror. It reflects sunlight onto dead planets and makes them productive enough to grow food.
What a wonderful idea.
The mirror was built on Venus in 3 sections like this. A short time ago, a cargo ship left Venus to deliver the first section to its orbiting space station. It never showed
Oh my
up.
God.
Space Force boys got right out there, but there wasn't a trace. We think it was hijacked. Scott, in the wrong hands, the solar mirror could become the most powerful
Yeah,
weapon
and
in
she
the
looked like
universe.
that lady looked like she can give you
Now, here's
give
what I
a
want you to
man
do.
a good kick to the nuts. I mean,
Get
those
that
eyes are
mirror
like,
back.
oh, you know.
Now remember, Project Solar Mirror is a matter of life and death to millions of starving people. That's all. Good luck, Scott. Out.
Taurus, how'd you like to visit
That's
Venus?
fucking Scotty.
Now you're talking, Skipper.
Set up the Starduster for immediate blastoff.
I'm halfway
Yeah.
there, sir.
This does make Speed Racer a downright award-winning.
Research lab.
Ask him to take over the Evening Star till we get back, will you?
You mean I can go too?
Of course. The chief wants that mirror back. Who can find a
Who
mirror?
can find a mirror first?
Scott McCloud.
But that was funny. Who could find a mirror faster than a pretty girl?
Skipper, a small target straight ahead.
Identify. Can you make it out yet, Taurus?
It could be a man in a spacesuit.
I'm firing braking rockets.
Now, what in the galaxy would...
I can see him. He's just drifting.
We'll take him aboard.
I don't like the looks of it. What if he's just bait?
With the hijackers ready to spring a trap on us.
We've got to take that chance.
Is this Johnny Quest? I don't even know what I'm watching, but yeah, it basically looks like super horrible Johnny Quest OG.
I'll keep you covered with the ray beam, Skipper.
Right. Remember, I'm on
Now the girl, though, she's got a big, nice butt. I know she's a poorly drawn cartoon, but she's got a nice body, actually, if you get a wide shot of her.
Open the outer panel. I'm on my way.
I don't like this. He's wide open out there.
He sure is, but I'll blast the first thing that moves. Scott's got him. They're on the way back.
Like, I think that's a picture of a real control panel made out of cardboard.
Pressure equalizer.
This is like that weird Conan O'Brien or Saturday Night Live cartoon where they had like the poster boards of like politicians and they put the real lips behind them. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to remix the audio on this, yeah. Glad we're watching this right now. This is getting re-uploaded. So, when I recorded the VH...
He had been making repairs on the outer hull.
I don't want to interrupt dialogue.
Strange bat-like ships attacked them with powerful force rays, tossing the ship like a toy and leaving him drifting helplessly in space.
The hijackers might have used a force ray
But
to
see,
stop your cargo.
audio dropped out. We only have it on the left channel now. And that's because this is actually split into 3 segments that were combined together in the editing software. And I did not combine the audio channels still, because the guys who edited the original video on the public access TV station, they used the editing room at the TV station, they apparently only used left channel audio because whatever the VCR picked up was only left channel. And so when I bring it to editing software, I just duplicate the left channel, put it on the right channel in order to fix that, you know? Shit, I missed that. But I mean, I wasn't really reading it, but I don't doubt it for a second. I don't doubt for a second they misspelled. I'm gonna replay that. I don't doubt for a second that they misspelled continue. Now, let's listen to what Miss Dami Matrix says.
Industrial television could use more dick.
I'm not gonna quote her. I'm not quoting that. The fuck is this? Dick York Theater. I don't think this is appropriate. Like, Dick stars as the rebel teen. It's amazing how you could just, like, people would just call everyone Dick back then. It was totally cool. I mean, I know it's, like, short for Richard. I get it. Alright, right. I'm gonna skip ahead of this a little bit.
Dear Margot, they finally released me from the hospital, and now I'm home again. But in a way,
oh, this is fucked. Alright, this is gonna be fucked, man.
Would have been easier, perhaps.
Oh god.
When I think what happened to Nick, and well, I can look from my window and see all the rest of the gang having fun. But I've had my last day. Who would want to go off with me now? Not even Larry. Some of the fault was mine, I know. And yet, it all started so innocently. The day of the big football game. Andersonville High was playing the Mooseheart team that day, and both Larry and Nick were wonderful. Nick made 2 touchdowns himself. Oh, it was terribly exciting. But then after the game, when Kathy Robbins, she's my best friend, and I were waiting outside the stadium dressing room for Nick and Larry, she made me think a little by something she said.
Oh, wasn't he wonderful, Kathy? Who, Nick? Oh, yes, he's quite a flash. But did you notice who ran interference for him? Larry, your other boyfriend, remember?
He did? Oh, of course, I should have known.
But they're both so... What was the problem to decide which one I liked the best? Gee, I wish I had that kind of a problem. Which one of them are you going to let take you home, Jeannie?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't decided.
Of course, Nick has a hot rod car his father gave him last week. Sure is snazzy. Yes, but the way he drives.
Nick's a good driver. Why, his own father showed him how.
Well, she may be a little reckless, but... Well, I wouldn't ride with him for all the tea in China. Tea doesn't come from China, silly. It comes from Ceylon or somewhere. Yes. I was rather sure of myself that day.
Alright, so Pretty Girl has a choice between the two most popular guys. She decides to go, and she's leaning towards going home tonight or getting a ride home with the reckless guy with the nice sports car instead of the dorky football player who's probably safer.
How would you all like to take a ride in my new monster? My dad gave it to me last week. It's really a souped-up hot rod. Do better than 90 without even half trying.
Oh, I'd love that.
But, Gene, I thought we'd... That is, I thought we were going to... Well, anyway, I can't join you.
I know, right?
And I have to take it home.
You better count me out, too.
Well, granted, none of them got any yet. They're still prospects.
I don't think I could stand another one.
Candidate for what?
Genocide. Don't you ever listen to Dan Bacon, the disc jockey on the radio? He talks about it all the time. He calls it the fine art of killing yourself before you're 20. You do it with an automobile. He says all you have to do is treat everyone else on the road like an unwanted relative or a mother-in-law. Forget all you've ever learned about being polite and considerate to others, and you'll make it. That's what the man says, and I believe him. Come on, Larry, take me home, huh?
Alright, good. Not good, but this is gonna escalate.
Yeah.
Not in the way you think. And I'm gonna re-upload this. Luckily, I can remix the audio of my own reaction stream because I record everything in separate audio tracks. So I can at least fix this for YouTube, and then I'll fix the BitChute video separately.
Never had an accident yet. Only been arrested 3 times. Oh, beautiful. Shall we be off into the wild blue yonder? Come on, I'll give you a real ride.
I like Dick.
The turnpike, and we went fast. By the time
Oh my God, she wet.
I was windblown and almost exhausted because the way Nick drove was, well, pretty frightening. Still, it was thrilling, too. Nick wanted a date for that evening to go dancing at the lake, but I turned him down. Somehow
Yes,
I felt
you
uneasy
should.
about riding with him at night. He didn't take it very well.
You fucking bitch.
He was angry as
He was
went
tight.
away. And then, as I started into the house,
Oh,
I got a big surprise.
awkward.
Larry was sitting on our porch swing waiting for me. Larry! What in the world are you doing here?
I had to talk to you, Gene. And, well, your mother said I could wait for you and then stay for dinner.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Nick and I took the
I
long
mean,
way
you know,
home. He got your
you gotta read those cues. You know, there's a way to go about these things.
All right.
You don't push your way through. You don't bop them in the head and then take them back to your cave. But, you know, if you ask permission too ahead of time, you know, it gets a little weird. You know, you gotta strike a balance there. I'm not gonna give people advice on this, but yeah.
I remember. Nick thought it was pretty silly.
Yes, I expected he would. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Gene, I wish you wouldn't ride in that hot rod of Nick's. I mean, the way he drives, it's dangerous.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Larry Gray. I think you're jealous, that's all. How possessive can a man be? You don't own me.
No, I don't. But I
So
hope
his
to
problem is-
someday. And I want you all in one piece. Look, I'm not a square or a killjoy. You know that. And if I wanted to, I could drive faster and crazier than Nick or any other hot rod guy in the world. But it's plain stupid for my money to risk your own life and the lives of a lot of other people just to show off the fact that you can operate a car. Any kid can drive an automobile.
He's not wrong, but the way he comes off, he basically scares her away. Basically, sort of like when someone tells you to do something, the person on the receiving end resists. You know, they double down, they push back, they say, okay, now I'm definitely going to take a ride with that guy in the car. So it's kind of tricky. He's using logic with the girl. He's logically saying, hey, look, man, this is dangerous and stuff. But because he's coming off jealous and overbearing, she's seeing an ulterior motive, I guess. But you know, bottom line, it's like now she's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go out with Nick now.
Oh, I have seen him.
Oh, hurry up. You can beat that red light.
Maybe. But maybe somebody else on the side street is trying to beat it, too.
Why don't you pass that car ahead of
Oh wait,
Because, darling, I don't want to go over the...
this is the good guy.
Oh, for goodness sakes, we'll never get
So she's gonna go to the lake with the good guy. Then she's gonna have the bad guy take her home. Is this what's happening? I'm not saying he's a bad guy. It's just that. Don't. When you see the end of the video, you'll see what I mean by good guy, bad guy.
It's going to be a nice night, too. Moon and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now we bring you that man who spins platters while he chins and chatters, Dan Bacon. Good evening.
Oh, want to talk about Kathy?
About this afternoon.
The eggs, I hope. And I've got a lot of select to twist tonight. But before we start, I want a word with any of you teenage ladies and gentlemen who may be listening. You're all such nice kids. But tell me, are you still alive? You are? Good. Then you haven't committed teenicide yet, have you?
What did he just say?
Well, I've said
What
it
did he
before,
just
and I'll
say?
say it again.
I gotta rewind that. That did not sound right. It sounded like he said penicide.
You are? Good. Then you haven't committed teenicide yet, have you? What is teenicide? Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again.
Okay, is my mind in the gutter, or am I hearing what I think I'm hearing?
Somebody else before you reach the age of 20.
Oh, teenicide. He said teenicide. Like, thank you, Padawannabe. I didn't hear it the first time. My mind was in the gutter there. I thought he said it. Okay, we'll resume the video now that I know the correct word.
All you have to do.
He's corny. He was a darling. He even tried to kiss you while we were dancing. But suddenly, I opened my eyes and there was Nick.
Dick looks so small. I always pictured him a little bit bigger.
Pardon me, may I cut in?
Nick.
Well, hi, Nick. Didn't expect to see you here.
Oh, I expect you didn't. May I have a dance with your girl?
Well, sure, if she's willing. But just one dance, miss.
If she consents.
That's all I want. One dance.
Nick was furious with me. Why had I refused a date with him and then gone out with Larry? I didn't have any excuse, but his attitude made me miserable. The whole evening was spoiled. After a while, though, he got over his mad a little, and finally we made up. And all was forgiven.
Come and take a little ride around the lake?
Oh, I couldn't do that. Larry's waiting to dance with me.
He's over there talking to a bunch of the guys on the team. It'll only take about 15 minutes. He'll never even miss you.
Well, I felt I did owe Nick some consideration for having gone out with Larry instead of him. And on an impulse, I agreed to take a short ride. Not more than 15 minutes. Not more than 15 minutes.
don't drive quite as fast as you did this afternoon, Nicky.
What's the matter? You been listening to that Tina side nonsense some more? I've been driving since I was 12 years old. Like I told you before, my own father taught me all the tricks.
That's a good one.
Be careful, Nick.
Don't worry, there's nothing to it. Watch this. Just give him the horn, make him get out of the way.
There wasn't any doubt that Nick knew how to handle a car. But I couldn't help remembering something.
Tenacide is the fine art of killing yourself and maybe somebody else before you reach the age of 20. You do it with an automobile.
It's easy, really.
Really.
Do you have to take corners on two wheels?
Why not? Two wheels are better than none. That's what my old man always says.
Slow down, Dick. You're going too fast.
Oh, those things are for old women and scaredy cats. I know what I'm doing.
Why don't you let that car behind you pass us? We're in no hurry.
I'm always in a hurry, honey. Always in a hurry. Watch me make this baby walk away from him.
Tenacide is the fine art of killing yourself and maybe somebody else before you reach the age of 20. You do it with
You see where this is going, right?
Tenacide. 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 Tenacide.
By the way, those guys are called the Two Droogies. They modeled themselves or named themselves after the guys from A Clockwork Orange. Alright, well, long story short, before you go, I will say you saw the conclusion of the video, and basically she gets the face of a battered wife. That's what happened. And beyond of that, well, the kind of content I do is stuff like this, apparently. Sometimes I do gaming streams. I try to focus on tech videos and actually streaming tutorials. So what you mentioned earlier, if you intend on doing, you know, content creation, yeah, sure. Feel free to ask me any questions. I always say at the end of my, you know, educational videos, please, you know, leave a comment if you have any questions or comments. And so, you know, I encourage people who have questions like, hey, can you, if someone said, can I perhaps do a video on how to do X or Y? If it was something within reason that was doable or something I'm already doing, yeah, 100%. I'm always happy to do a video showing people stuff I do. So with that said, I thank you for watching Padawannabe, and I'm glad you're giving me an out. I was planning on ending this video after the, you know, drunk driving video anyway. So, you know, I appreciate you tuning in. You were good company tonight. And, yeah, enjoy these holiday Star Wars special stream. What channel is that on? Is that on your channel? Well, if you tell me what channel it is in the chat, I'll try to tune into it in the next 8 hours. And if not, I'll try to look it up anyway. But, you know, good luck on the stream. Thanks again for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. In the meantime, I'm just going to do some tidying up here. Oh, cool. All right. I will most certainly look that up. Thank you very much. And have a good night.
Sorry.
Sorry. You guys are still...
Hey, we are two Star Wars nerds.
If there's one thing everybody knows Intel for, it's its really successful line of x86 processors. What most people are probably less familiar with, however, is the fact that Intel has tried to kill this thing off for
devil dagger staring at you. Like
sometimes
barely
I just
open
ramble.
eyes staring at
Oh,
you.
it's funny. It's funny. It's good content. Thank you very much, Lofty, for jumping on. Serranos, as always, love chatting with you. Nico, good to see you as well. Nerdporial would rather watch anime than EFAP. 100% true.
I agree.
I mostly come from the EFAP side of the community in terms of like that whole media discussion space. That's one I follow a lot. And otherwise, I like watching Nick stream some, and that's how I got here.
Right. Awesome. All right, everyone. Lofty, what's your next stream?
Oh my god, I might do an Avatar stream tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, it's Flashcast tomorrow night.
Awesome.
And then on my channel, Lofty Pixels. Next week, I have I just launched Lofty Lounge, which is my podcast.
Very fun.
I'm trying to do that every week, probably Wednesdays. Yep.
EFAP is every frame a pause, where they watch a show, pause it, and talk about it for hours at a time.
Yeah, they'll cover just movies that come out. They'll cover games rarely. They watch movies sometimes and just talk about that. Lots of times the movie watch-alongs are really funny or just really good ones. And then another thing they do would be watching like video essays and criticizing those. They just had one about a guy who was criticizing God of War Ragnarok. That was a really good one.
11 hours.
It was a 12-hour stream, but that was a really good stream.
All right, Serranos, what are you up to this weekend?
Probably not gonna be that much. Probably gonna watch another like 30 episodes of anime.
There you go. Catch up.
30?
I watched 35
That's
last week.
Baby stuff on a weekend.
Yeah, I watched 35 episodes last week, so I'm trying to catch up.
You're in our Thunderdome now, Lofty.
I have another like 10 shows to catch up on.
Nico, how about you? What are you doing?
I think I'm gonna get back to streaming.
Yo, Blaine is mad fancy with his outro, intro, VFX. Man. Oh, cool. I found a video titled Ancient Aliens Debunked. I'm gonna bookmark that. Alrighty, let's get back to work here. Alrighty, so what we did here. Is re-encoded multiple copies of the same video. Basically, it's about 1 hour of video footage, about 1 hour and 49 seconds. And all of these are basically the same thing. But if we look at the file names, and if we close this, and we close this, actually, I always do this. I shouldn't be doing it on stream, but, ooh, oh, I gotta buy that, like, right now. You know, I looked at this yesterday. I was like, I'm not paying $40 for it. But I mean, yeah, I'll pay like $7 right now. Yeah, I'd totally do that. Now, what's the other games? Battlefront 2. Maybe I'll add it tomorrow if I really, really want to get the stupid game. But I mean, $50 game for $7. Yeah, I mean, kind of have to pause what I'm doing here and purchase this. You know, it's like the second time I've done like some kind of stream or in the middle of a video recording. Had to... Oh, shit. Fuck. I just bought God of War. I didn't mean to do that. Can I refund that? Might be able to refund that. Do I want God of War? Maybe I'll keep it. But I didn't mean to do that. I did not mean to buy God of War just now. That was like not my intention at all. Like literally, if you look here, yeah, I literally like, I went to buy the $7 game and I accidentally bought God of War. But you know what? Okay, it's $29.99. I think it's also on sale. So I might have gotten like a discount on this. And I don't know why I keep getting my birthday wrong here. I got to check my Steam account. But when did this go on sale? Did it go on sale today? Was this selling for $29.99? Like when did the sale start? Weekend deal? Well, whatever. I'm glad I'm taking advantage of it now. I don't know if this was selling for $29.99 yesterday, but I guess at least I bought it on sale by accident. I was kind of thinking about getting the game anyway. And, you know, I could play it on my Steam Deck. So, yeah. Okay, cool. So, let's see if there's any of the deeply discounted gaming that I can get into. Huh? Free next gen update. So if I bought it already, do I already have it? Like what's going on here? Like I got the collection already, right? Like so if I click add to cart, is it gonna specify that I already... Okay, so good. I'm not gonna buy it. I mean, I wasn't gonna buy it anyway, but I just want to know what the hell that was. I bought this here, so I should already have it. But what's this like? Fancy edition. Well, I'll research it later. I don't really care, to be honest. I just want to know if it's automatically updating to like super duper high definition or what. I mean, I've only played the game for like 2 hours, 3 hours so far. Alright, well, let's get out of that. What else is there? Okay, that's it. Good. Now, let's get back on topic here. Alright. Alrighty, so these are all the same video. 1 hour and 49 seconds. Widescreen at various settings. So I have like at 12,000 or 12 megabits per second and at 10 megabits per second. And the resulting file difference is 2.7 gigs versus 2.8 gigs. So we basically save like about 100, 120, not even, actually 80 megabytes. I save about 80 megabytes between, you know, 10 megabytes versus, 10 megabits versus 12 megabits per second. That's why I have 10K versus 12K. And then I did it at 12 megabits per second in the H.265 codec instead of the 264. And the file size jumped. It went from 2.8 gigs to like double. So that's interesting. So, I mean, all I did was use the newer codec and ended up with a considerably larger file. So in this case, the, 265 codec has some superior features, but in this case, it does not result in a smaller file, unless I pick different settings and don't remember. Same here, 16 megabits per second, 2.9 gigs, and then when using the H.265 encoder, we're now talking about nearly 7 gigabytes, so more than double in file size. So actually, yeah, that confirms it. So I would not use the H.265. I would almost immediately delete these files after this recording. Next, we have the quality profile. So in DaVinci Resolve, when you export a video, you can select either a bit rate, so you can say restrict it to this bit rate, or you could do best, high, medium, low, or least. And that will pretty much, I guess, automatically decide for you. Well, at best quality, we get a 4 gig file. at the next setting, which is a little lower at high quality, we get a 2.5 gig file. And these are using the H.264 encoder. Now this is where things get interesting. If I tell it to use the high profile using the H.265 encoder here, it gave us a smaller file. So H.264, so what I'm thinking is happening is the program automatically used a lower bitrate because of the higher compression used in this encoder. It knew that it could use a lower bitrate, give me the same quality, and give me a smaller file. So that appears to be what's happening here. I'd have to investigate that, but that looks like what we have here because, obviously we have the same bitrate over here using the H.264 encoder, and we're getting a 2.8 gig file. Then we have, a higher, same bitrate again using H.265, and we got a larger file, and we have it here again. Same thing, different encoder, 264 encoder, same bitrate, 265 encoder, same bitrate, and we're getting more than double the file size again right over here. In fact, even more than the original doubling. Yet down here, if we use the profile, if we use high, medium, low, the two high quality encodings using the H.264 and the H.265 encoder yield is a smaller file size here. So that's interesting. Then we did an experiment using the least quality profile, and we have an 880 megabyte and a 688 megabyte. So we're talking about 200 megabyte savings between these two files. And I suspect the quality will be, interestingly, oh God, I'm sorry. I forgot. This is that episode. Okay. So basically we got, anytime you're getting video footage that was, 29 FPS, it will actually look like 60 frames a second. Anytime we got content here that is from motion picture, maybe it'll look more like motion picture frame rate. But because the video quality is so low, it doesn't seem to be noticeable. Let's skip it again. That's a video about drunk driving.
Beers with the gang. It is a social custom of
God.
our time. But today that's
many broken bones.
So I mean, realistically, can I tell the difference between
10 minutes? A house can go in 5 or even 3.
This and
a report by the American Medical Association clearly showed that 2 shots of 100 proof whiskey, or
if you agree that these pictures have been bold and shocking enough, that you've learned a very worthwhile lesson from them,
lowest quality. I mean, it might be a little better. Oh, this is cool.
Right.
Is this the low quality? No, it's the high quality. Okay. So at 32 and 55 seconds. I suspect the audio is out of sync, but it's not because of them, or at least it's not because of my end.
Number 4, listen! You're quite right.
So what I'm trying to figure out is... The color grading is way off. It's very hard to distinguish the quality between the 800 megabyte file and the 2.8 gigabyte file. And so that will also warrant further investigation. But I think that about concludes this stream. If I'm going to do any work, it's not going to get done tonight. And so I will have to resume or restart my efforts tomorrow. For anybody watching now, anybody who's looking at this during the replay, I thank you for watching. If you, enjoyed anything you saw today, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please leave a comment. And for now, we shall end transmission. Oh, and I just ended the recording, so now I have to end the stream transmission. So, see if I hit the stop button, and I think this would do it. So yeah, anyway, once again, thank you for watching, and I shall now end the actual